Welcome back to the into today's video. Going to have a bit of a September look ahead, look at the rest of September, and we'll be going on into October with this video as well. And then we'll have a bit of a sneak peek at weather next week. It looks like it's going to be quite changeable next week, and I'll talk about that more, of course, in the weekend forecast tomorrow. Now, before I get on with the video, just mention the advertising. There's green keyword ads on my pages at gazmobiles.com. Rolling cursor over the green keywords means that you'll see the ad. If you click through the ad, click through the words, you go to the advertised website, and when you do that, you're supporting gazmobiles.com, and thanks very much for doing that. So this is the current radar picture, just showing that we have got rain around. It's a bit sporadic across England and Wales, as I suspected it might be. Very heavy across the northern parts of England, going down in towards the North Midlands, and another area just coming up towards the London area and starting to push north of London in towards the East Midlands and in towards East Anglia, perhaps through the latter stages of the morning. But as I say, it's quite sporadic for England and Wales. It is heavier further north, and I think the trend through the course of the day will be to get this more concentrated across Northern England, Northern Ireland, Southern Scotland. That's sort of where it's going to end up at the end of the day, into North Wales as well, round the Isle of Man, around the Irish Sea. Could be really wet in those areas tonight with some very, very heavy rain indeed. But it's a much, much cooler day. It's cloudy. Temperatures have dropped by a good 10 degrees. Very significant change has taken place. So, just having a look now at the longer range models going out through the rest of September and into October. I'm going to start with the JMA. This just updated about 2 minutes ago. It's from Japan, and these are 500 millibar height anomalies broken down into weekly periods. So this first weekly period is taking us from the 5th to the 12th of September, and what we're looking at here is an anomalous area of high pressure sitting to the north of the country, to the north of Scotland. British Isles is here, we're upside down, so it's a bit difficult to make us out exactly where we are on this, to be honest. But anyway, we've got an anomalous area of high pressure sitting to the north. We've got low pressure as an anomaly sitting down to the south. We're going to be in for an unsettled week in the coming week, the 5th to 12th of September. We'll have showers along the spells of rain. With that high pressure as a blocking feature to the north of the country, it's going to be really quite cool as well. As we go through to the second week of the forecast period, which takes us from the 12th to the from the 12th to the 19th of September, then we bring yellow colours in across the country. What that's indicated is above average height. So it's seeing that through that weekly period, the middle of the month, 12th to 19th, we'll get a ridge of high pressure coming back. Now this is mainly centred to the west of the country, doesn't really extend into the east, so I doubt it'll be particularly warm. We're probably keeping winds westerly or northwesterly with that, so it probably won't be that hot, but to near normal temperatures and a good deal more settled through the period the 12th to the 19th of September, and then go through to the 3rd and 4th weeks, which takes us from the 19th of September, would you believe, to the 3rd of October. Then the suggestion is that we lose the height somewhat. There is still some above average height sitting to the west of the country, but the general idea is that the British Isles now is in near normal heights, and what we're probably looking at there is a weakening of the ridge through that final period of September into the start of October. If that's right, we're probably seeing the conditions turning a little bit more unsettled, but not desperately unsettled by any means. But of course, when you get through to this latter stage of the model, it kind of loses the signal somewhat, so the colours always disappear somewhat anyway in the final 2 weekly period. But anyway, that's how the JMA is looking. Going on to the CFS model, which is from the United States. This is from the website weatherweb.net. You can find this on my links page. These are this is the city temperature forecast. This is for London, actually. And quite interesting, the drop in temperature has occurred. I've just been checking this. I first talked about the drop in temperature that the CFS model was seeing on the 13th of August. So on the 13th of August, I said around the 6th of September, the CFS was seeing a drop in temperature. That has indeed occurred on the 6th of September. Been an excellent performance from the CFS model. Very, very pleased with this one. So there we are. The period for the 5th to the 6th are going to disappear, but that was the drop in temperature that has occurred through that period. What's it seeing for the rest of September? 1st of October is just here. It's actually seeing that temperatures are going to sort of stabilise over the next week and remain relatively cool, to be honest. Then we get through to around the 17th, 18th, we get a bit of a pickup. We don't get back up to where we was for the first 5 days of September. We're some way short of that, but we do see temperatures picking up a little bit as we go through to around, say, the 17th towards the 21st or 22nd. Then we get another drop in temperature going back towards the seasonal average, really, as we get through towards the 23rd, 24th of September, and we sort of stay in that area through the rest of the month. Then as we go into October, we actually see quite a big drop off again at the start of October, before things again stabilising but at a lower sort of base, and then another drop off in temperatures coming up around say the 14th or the 15th of October. So you see that the idea with this is that the general trend, despite the fact we do get this bit of a warming occurring between around, say, the 15th and the 21st, something like that, of September, we do get a bit of a warming there, but the general trend through the next month or so is very much downwards. And of course that's what you expect, because we're going on into autumn. A cooling period is to be expected, but I think we could get one more spell of pretty warm weather, not as warm as it was during the first 5 days of September, but another spell of warmish weather, probably likely between, say, around the 15th and the 21st, 22nd of September, and that probably ties in nicely with the above average heights that the JMA model was predicting through that sort of middle part of the month. The precipitation forecast from the CFS model, again, this is from website weatherweb.net, and these are broken down into weekly periods. So this is the rainfall anomaly for the week ending the 12th of September. As we know, it is going to be an unsettled week. The JMA and the CFS are both agreeing on that. The highest anomaly in terms of the rainfall could actually be on the eastern side of the country, quite unusually, and we'll have a look at the reason for that in a moment, but it could be quite wet on the eastern side of the country next week. It's unsettled in the west as well, but not as unsettled as further east. As we move through towards the weekend in the 19th of September, the idea is that it's still staying quite changeable, really, but high pressure is sitting more to the southwest now, starting to exert influence in southern parts of the country, and we've got low pressure up to the north of Scotland. So a bit of a traditional sort of pattern that as we go through the middle of the month, with the north more unsettled than the south. Then the week going up to the 26th of September, we're building the heights in, we're building high pressure in to the south and to the southeast. So the idea there is that high pressure definitely starting to come back to the south and the east of the country, with the low pressure becoming more confined up to the northwest, and that's where the jet stream would be as well, running to the north of the country. With that going through to the next week period ending the 3rd of October. Look at this, we start that week, we start October under high pressure, big area of high pressure dominating. Now, as we saw on the temperature charts, that doesn't necessarily mean it's going to be very warm. That high pressure could well have a lot of fog underneath it, a lot of mistiness, perhaps warmish sort of sunny days if you get the sunshine coming through, but for October, high pressure doesn't automatically mean warmth as it does in, say, September or through the summer. And as we move through to the next weekly period, which takes us to the 10th of October, well, the idea is that the high pressure is being nibbled away at, really, but it's still exerting the influence to the north, more in way of low pressure perhaps to the south. And then finally, the next weekly period takes us to the 17th of October, right to the middle of the month. And again, the idea is that high pressure really is dominating through this period. So if this is right, we're looking at quite a dry sort of high pressure dominated October, or certainly the first half of October will be dominated by a lot of high pressure. And again, the air with this is generally coming in from an east or southeasterly direction. That doesn't necessarily mean it's going to be warm. If we get a lot of fog with that high pressure, as we could do, then the potential is that it could actually be quite cool, particularly at night, where by the middle of October under high pressure you would be starting to think about frosts coming through. But quite a settled October, if that's right, or the first half of October in any case. Just have a look at the weather for next week. Bit big question marks for next week, as we just saw on the CFS charts. The east could be wetter, and the reason is clear on this GFS chart for next Tuesday, the 10th of September. We're seeing low pressure sitting in the North Sea. That's the low pressure that's with us now. It moves into the North Sea over the weekend through the start of next week, but it doesn't move away. And actually what the GFS wants to do next week is to start to develop that low pressure in the North Sea. So there it is, just sitting off the east coast. That could bring a lot of rain in onto the eastern side of the country next week. That could be a real rainmaker. We go through to Thursday the 12th of September, and the low pressure hasn't moved really. It's still sitting there in the North Sea. It's just offshore, so the idea is that we probably keep the rain just off the east coast, but we need to keep a very close eye on that, because if it develops and these low pressures in the North Sea, particularly at this time of year for some reason, I'm not sure why, probably because the North Sea is at its warmest, these low pressure can really wind themselves up and become big storms actually in the North Sea at this time of year. If it moves on to the east coast, it does bring the potential for some very, very wet weather onto the eastern side of the country. Eastern coastal areas can get flooded out from these systems at this time of year, so we do need to keep an eye on it. I'll be talking about it in much more detail in the weekend forecast tomorrow, trying to pin down the detail on it. But that's it for now. Hope you enjoyed the video. Just some sort of thoughts and musings about where things are going through the rest of September into October. It's all very experimental, so don't take it too seriously. But I sound very pleased with the CFS performance, picking out that drop in the temperature from the 5th to the 6th of September as early as the 13th of August. Very good from the CFS model, that prediction was. That's it for now. Thanks for watching.